Now this is kind of neat, the remainder theorem. For the remainder theorem, what you do is you do synthetic division, but your remainder, whatever you get, is going to be your answer. And what do I mean when I say that? Oh, it's going to be your answer. Well, if you were to evaluate this when x equals -2, before the remainder theorem, you would have just done this. And you plug in -2 equals 3 times -2 to the third power plus 8 times -2 to the second power plus 5 times -2 minus 7. That's what you would do. Now, because we know synthetic division, there's I don't know, I like this way better. I like using the synthetic division way. Alright, we're not missing any terms, so let's go ahead and set up our synthetic division. We write out all of our coefficients. So we have 3, 8, 5, and -7. It's so interesting to me that this works. Okay, and then I have my multiply box right there. Alright, I'm set up. I like to put this dotted line right there, right before the last number, so I know what number is my remainder. Okay, now, what do I put right here? Now this is kind of different, because before when you guys did this, there was something like x plus 2 right here. Like if this is a factor, what would you want to divide it by? Or what would you do synthetic division with? You would do synthetic division with a -2, right? Okay, but we don't have that. Instead, they just tell you x equals -2. So this is what you do. You take that -2 and plug it into the multiply box right there and begin your business. You bring down the 3 first, because that's how you do synthetic division. Then you go 3 times -2. That'll give you -6. You take the -6, add it to the 8. Then we add that, we get 2. So now I go 2 times -2 is -4, so I put that right there. Add that to the 5, I get 1. 1 times -2, that will give us -2. So I add the -7 and the -2 to get -9. This is our answer, -9. So if you plug in -2 to our function, you get -9, says the remainder theorem. Now this is why this is so cool. If I go back up here to what you guys knew how to do before, I'll go through this kind of quickly. -2 raised to the third power would be -8, and I would have to multiply that times 3, and I would get -24. Plus, this would be a +4, so I have +4 times 8, that would be a 32. Plus, -2 times 5 would be -10, and then I would subtract 7 from that. If I were to add all my negatives together, I would get -34, -41. And then I would add 32 to that. So what would I get when I add those two? -9. You see? F of -2 is -9. So there's two different ways to do it, but which way do you like better? Do you like the synthetic substitution way? Or do you like the normal plugging it in way?
Plug and chug.